Good day, everyone. I hope you're well. Yeah. So for the past, I'd say 2 months. Yeah, 2 months. Um, I learned a lot more about people than the job. Um, I was working at a company where we work with um, implants, so knee implants, hip implants, basically joints. Yeah, implants for joints and bone plates and whatnot. Um, for It's medical equipment for surgeries. So if someone's getting their knees replaced, basically we go deliver the equipment, right? And during this time, I was working as the people that go around go deliver these things. I was unfortunately only there for 2 months. Um, but during that my time there, I really learned a lot. I learned a lot about people, especially, and I learned a lot about the industry that I was working in. Um, First thing that I'll say that I learned a lot. You are at the mercy of other people's decisions in terms of my contract situation. Um, the company got acquired by another company. I think about it said early this year when I did my research, so I assume it was between March and April this year. Um, so I got my contract for 2 months. There was a potential to extend, but unfortunately, it was not extended. The manager said the reason being was we are currently overstaffed in the department that I was in. Um, and me personally, there was a thing where the main skill that I needed was my driving, and it wasn't up to par to everyone. Like when I was comparing my driving to everyone, it wasn't where it should be. Um, yeah, I just didn't have opportunity to drive before I got there, and currently, by the grace of God, that I'm actually being blessed with the opportunity to drive. Um, so yeah, it's something that I'm actually currently fixing. But anyway, let me not get distracted. You are at the mercy of other people's decisions. Ultimately, you shouldn't put your ultimate security on your employer. Um, yeah, it's blunt, but it's true. Um, yeah, your employment can change at someone's decision. Like they could be, you could be getting let go, not specifically in this instance, because they just can't afford to have you there, like retrenchment. All these things are there. Um, you just have to learn to accept those things. Like this one, for example, um, there's nothing that I've put it down. He even said like it's not something that you done wrong. It was just out of your control. You just have to accept that. Um, and some people are sad for me, but me personally, I just learned to accept it. Just take it on the chest and move, because there's no point in me just crying and moping around. Um, yeah, just learn to take it on the chest and move. Be grateful for the opportunity. As I said, I was very, 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 very much grateful for the opportunity. Um, yeah, I just took that on the chest and moved. Second of all, be open to learn. Always, I highly recommend that. And especially to the right people. Once you see someone, oh, in this environment, this person, you can kind of rank people in certain skill sets, and go to those people. Don't necessarily ask them directly, but just be there while they're busy doing something. Just watch and learn what they're doing. Ask questions. Be always willing to ask questions. Um, Most people say, don't ask questions because you're gonna seem dumb. Rather look dumb and try and then be like out here acting smart, thinking that you know everything and then getting humbled. Rather be humble from the very beginning. Just ask questions. Put yourself out there, and if you think you're gonna do, if you think something is done a certain way, do it. And if they correct you, take that advice and just move with it. Um, there's no point in you being arrogant or being a nuisance. Like, be a sponge. Don't be a nuisance. Don't try and act like you know everything. Especially if you got recommended into a place. Like for me, example, um, for instance, um, yeah, if you got a recommendation by a higher up or anyone within the company, make sure that you do what you're supposed to be doing for your benefit, but also for that person's benefit. Because now you putting, if you were to act like a nuisance, you'd be tarnishing their name indirectly, and it's something that you don't want to do with people. You genuinely want to give whoever gave you the opportunity a good name. And I was like, from the very get-go, I was like, let me learn what I need to learn. And by and large, just by me focusing on that, I give a full good impression on whoever was in the process of me getting, whoever was involved in the process of me getting a good name. So yeah, um, and also learn the skills that um, sometimes God will give you things that you don't know. In the moment, you don't see why you are learning these things. There were certain things that I learned in the job that I'm like, even on the last day of me working there, they were still teaching me stuff like I'm gonna work there. I'm like, my contract is ending, but okay, I'm gonna learn these things still because I don't know when I'm gonna need to learn these things again. Um, Not learn, but where I'm gonna need to apply these things specifically. So I was like, till the very last day, I still learning, and I made sure that I just enjoyed it and leave a good impression. Because when references come around, say for example, I'm looking for another job at somewhere else, then I know that I have good references. Um, Third one is learn how to show your skills. I learned this. This one is not something that I specifically did, but it's something that I saw within my colleagues. Um, they kind of, most of them know how to show off their skills. Like, having a skill is not enough. Knowing when and who to show it to is also the important part. Um, yeah, demonstrating your skills. Don't be afraid to put yourself out there. When there's an opportunity, just put yourself out there. Um, Showcase your skills. Um, showing your abilities, but not in an arrogant way, like looking for attention, but bec- showing off your ability because you're competent. You know what you're actually doing. You've done this so many times, so just show it off. And that's how you get opportunities. That is how you're gonna get more opportunities because they would have seen that, okay, this person's competent. They put themselves out once. Okay, next time they're gonna choose the same person again because they know how this person already operates. Because that just lets your work speak for you. You don't necessarily have to speak. The work that you produce speaks for you. And every time, do not hide. Don't hide your what you're capable of. And that's how, yeah, as I said, that's how you're gonna get opportunity, and that's the only way people know how you know how to do certain things. So definitely put yourself out there. Um, the fourth one is the more deeper one, and something, yo, I actually really needed to learn this. Um, Learning to navigate a world where not everyone follows Jesus. Um, it's my first time getting employed and dealing with people on a regular basis where most of them are not Christians. Because most of the time, like last year, I went from church to home to come to church events. So I'm in a bubble. I was in a bubble. Um, I'm not dealing much with people that are outside, besides my friends that most of them are unsaved. Besides that, I'm not dealing with people on a regular basis where they are unsaved and their character and all the things they do could be a hindrance to me personally and be temptation or whatnot. So it is something that I had to learn how to navigate. Um, yeah, strong on my faith, standing strong on my faith. Yo, that is the one thing I learned to do during this time. It was only 2 months, but I learned a lot. Um, yeah, but standing strong on my faith and knowing when to be an ear and knowing when to say no. This is the boundary, this is the line, you're not crossing it. Um, but also in doing that, stating those boundaries and doing the right thing, not closing people's hearts, not isolating. You don't want to be that person that they view, oh, you are holier than thou, therefore we're not going to speak to you. You still want to be around the people that you need to work with, because at the end of the day, these are my colleagues. These people I need to work with on a regular basis, so I can't close their hearts off or rub them up the wrong way at the end of the day. But at the same time, I need to pay attention to their influences, but how they influence me and the temptations that they might lead me into. So there was a conversation that we were having, and um, it got a bit plus 18 in the conversation. So there was things of a sexual nature that were being spoken about. At first of all, at work, I was already questioning that. But anyway, it was a private conversation, and we're having the conversation, and then I was like, I'm not comfortable with this. But I just continued the conversation, and I could feel, okay, it was one of the first times that I was like, oh, temptation, the enemy's trying to work through this. But I was like, oh, I recognized it, and then I was like, nah, okay, I know how to navigate this thing now, because I saw where the road it was leading down, but I was like, no, that is not how I move now. I no longer move like that. Um, Sleeping around and doing all of that. But I don't necessarily judge these people because they are shaped by the environment around them. I was once there, as you heard from my testimony. If you go back and check it out, I was once that type of person too. So at the end of the day, I can't really judge and be like, you condemn them, because once upon a time that was me too. But I'm here to be a light and to show you the right way. Um, and I can only do that by how I act. Um, because sometimes, yeah, you can say stuff, but people won't listen. So rather be rather let your actions speak louder than your words. And that actually smoothly transitions to point number 5. Um, how to deal with people, how to read people, and having grace with people. As I said, the actions speak louder than the words, in the context of people say that they are Christians or they act a certain way, they do this, they do that. Learning to watch people's patterns, how they speak, how they treat others, the things they celebrate, especially the things they celebrate and how they treat others, because I learned a lot. Certain people say they do this, they are that, but at the end of the day, once you watch the pattern and the fruits that they produce in everything, this is not just even for the work that I was doing or the colleagues that I was working with. This is actually population in large, because I've been working with Uber drivers. Um, when I was with Uber drivers, when I was within the hospitals, when we're delivering this equipment, um, yeah, it's just recognizing people's patterns. Like, oh, okay, this one is acting this way. Then, yeah, all of that. Um, just recognizing people's patterns. So you must watch people's actions, because that's how you should judge people off their fruit, not of what they say. And I think one scripture that says, there's two that you probably I'll put them in the description of the video. Matthew 7 verse 16, and Luke 6 verse 45. I think it's Luke. I think it's Luke 6:45 that says, "Out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks," and yeah, it's that kind of epitomizes what I'm trying to say. In terms of people will act a certain way, but why are they doing certain things? Do you understand them? Have you had some time to listen to them, or to get to the reason why they act a certain way? The environment. Remember, they're shaped by the environment, the world they live in. So that has shaped how their heart and the way they lean. So you should first actually slow down and listen to these people and try to understand. Trying to understand someone does not necessarily mean that you want to agree with what they're saying, but it's just to understand where are they coming from, why are they doing what they're doing, and that is greater than just dismissing them outright. Oh, you do this, then I don't listen to you at all. But why are you doing it? That is the heart. Why is their heart like that? And it's not good to condemn someone immediately as soon as they don't do something a certain way. As I said, just shut them off. Because we also need to remember, once upon a time, that was us. That is that is the deeper part. Like, I used to be, I'm confident in that. Like, I can't close off to people that are unsafe, because a year ago, not a year ago, a year and a half ago, I was one of those people. So what would I be doing? What if I met myself 2 years ago? I'd be the hypocrite that I accuse Christians of being. So what what would I be doing? So yeah, being open to learn from people. And yeah, at the end of the day, we just need to remember that we need to be, we need to show grace, just as Jesus showed us. Because once upon a time, as I said, we were those people, and Jesus showed us grace. He showed us the message through the Bible, through everything that we know. We need to show grace just as He showed us grace. So at the end of the day, we truly just have to be, we are Christians at the end of the day. But if you feel offended by this message, please let me know. I'm more than willing to have a conversation about it. You can put it in the description. I'm more than open. If you've watched this far, thank you very much. I really appreciate it, because lately I've been looking at the views on the channel. I'm like, it's not looking good. But that I didn't do it for the views. I did it because I just want to share my perspective on certain things, but also educate some people from them watching my content. So I really appreciate you watching this far. But other than that, thank you very much once again, and I'll see you. Stay safe out there. Peace.